So, in the interest of time, we're going to talk about just one thing for recaps, and that is the most important thing that came out on television last week. The Steven Universe episode On the Run. Well, that's not true. The Broad City episode was really good, but that's not a cartoon. Seriously, though, watch that fucking show. On the Run, the Steven Universe episode, the preview of which we saw during the Steven Universe panel at MagFest, and were misled as to the tone of that episode.
Yeah, I was about to say, that was the reddest of herrings.
I thought the episode was going to be could be described as a romp, as a fun romp for the whole family. It was none of those things.
Cause it's not even like, the beginning and then it turns into it. Like, even the beginning bit they didn't show us was more indicative of the whole episode than that specific couple minutes of footage.
Yeah, they showed us the most fun part, which is, I think, a good idea for the panel. And the part that's fun is super fun.
Becky,
they're no homeboys. They have no home.
We are not like the no homeboys.
I just thought that, how are they going to get out of this one? Turns the page. Oh, that's how. Because those books are 75 pages long.
Yep.
But yeah, this episode, I think, is this the heaviest this show has gotten?
Yes.
Yeah. And, it's gotten heavy before.
Without even thinking about it, I know, yes.
Lion 3 was heavy in a different kind of heavy. Too Many Birthdays was heavy. Cat Fingers was heavy. Nothing was this heavy. So, if you haven't watched the episode, of course you gotta watch it. In this episode, Steven decides kind of on a whim that he wants to run away from home and have an adventure like the No Homeboys, which are like the Hardy Boys. And then Amethyst, for her own reasons, decides to go with her. And after 2 hours, Steven is done and wants to go home.
Because he's a kid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Amethyst is really committed.
They run into a raccoon. They cross a little bridge thing. They manage to hitch a ride on a train. And as soon as he gets to sleep in the hay, he was like, I want a bed. This is the worst.
Yeah. And that song was really fun.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I love
I've been
it.
singing it all week.
Amethyst's singing voice, I just love.
Yeah.
I need more Amethyst singing.
Yeah, that's my favorite song in the show since the Big Donut employee rap. So while they're on the train, Amethyst is like, I don't want to go home, but you want me to show you where I came from? And they go to this place, which is this desolate valley full of giant bacteriophage-shaped robots. It's called the Kindergarten. That's pretty fucking ominous.
Which Peridot did mention. And
oh, did she mention the kindergarten?
Yeah, she was talking about activating the kindergarten.
But then she noticed Steven's breakfast stickers, so basically those stickers saved the world.
Yeah.
Oh,
because otherwise she was about to reactivate them.
I missed
whatever that means. Yeah.
And also, there's a line in the beginning, and this is where you could first tell that shit was going to happen. It's when Pearl was saying, the gems from the homeworld wanted to do something very bad to Earth, but your mother, Garnet, and I saw the beauty in Earth and decided to save it. So I'm like, not Amethyst. So not Amethyst. What are we doing with this?
That.
We actually find out more than you'd think we would.
But not as much as I want, but at the same time, as much as you can ask for.
As much as you can ask for, partially for 11 minutes. Because this is something I'm used to with Adventure Time. Is they'll introduce a concept and then we'll see it fulfilled a season and a half later. Like King of Ooh, we're still waiting to see more about that. He finally showed up again in an episode a couple of weeks ago, and we still don't get the whole picture of this fucking guy. This gave us much more than we thought we would. So, let's run down what happened. The kindergarten is a place where the gems grew gems. Basically to build an army to conquer Earth.
Basically.
And at least that's as much as we can tell, because it's never explicitly said, but what else could it be? If it turns out that we're wrong, we'll say something.
Yeah.
Well, I wasn't sure if it was so much about conquering Earth, but just, like, using the Earth as a place in which to breed more gems. Like, I just assumed that was how they did that.
I just sort of eating up the Earth's resources.
Well, yeah, because they can't do their own homeworld, because eventually they'll run out of shiny rocks.
Yeah. And amethyst was grown on Earth.
Yeah.
In a hole.
In a hole on the side of a craggy.
A reference to the Enigma of the Amagara Fault. Visually more than thematically.
Although she did just, like, slide right in, and I was like, oh, I'm just remembering that fucking manga.
Yeah. So 2 things. One, I'd like to see some fan art of Amethyst coming out on the other side. And
Why?
I mean, technically she can do it unscathed.
That's true.
Yeah. And 2, what this does mean is that, like, she was born shaped that way. So there's no baby gems. That doesn't mean I don't want to see fan art of that, too. I want to see fan art of
Which way to the baby war?
I want to see fan What?
The baby war bit, when she gets in the Jeep and she turns herself into a baby so she can fit in it, like, beep, beep, which way to the baby war?
Yeah, their birthdays.
Oh my god!
Yeah, that was so funny. Yeah, but, I mean, this explains... Because we always sort of knew that Amethyst was younger, but now we see how much younger, because Amethyst was never even from space or the homeworld at all.
That's probably why she's also the most... Like, she gets Earth concepts better, because she has no gem concepts to get in the way.
Yeah, and she's sort of attached to Earth. Like, she likes eating food, and she likes Earth things, I guess.
When it comes time for me to rewatch this series, I'm interested to see, like, if there were any hints dropped that Amethyst wasn't from space. I bet there's probably shit like that in Millionaire Tiger.
Oh, well, I'm not sure how intentional this was, but there's that one joke that Garnet made that Pearl laughed her ass off at about, because, like, Steven wants to keep that gem monster, and Garnet's like, well, we kept Amethyst.
Oh no!
And
then Pearl is, like, laughing, like, guffawing, and Amethyst is in the back.
In that awkward way, she was like, oh!
Yeah. Because she laughs at jokes, like, once a year. How droll, and then Amethyst is in the back, like, fuck you guys.
But what confused me, though, is because Amethyst was talking about how she was alone there in the kindergarten. Like, completely alone. But there was a lot of other holes. So...
I guess maybe they were grown one at a time, I don't know.
It's either that, or maybe she had, like, a disproportionate amount of agency or free will compared to the other ones. Because, like, what differentiated her from all the other gems? Like, what, Pearl said she was the only good thing to come out of this bad event. So there has to have been something that differentiated them. And maybe Amethyst was, like, in a way defective among those gems. She had...
Oh, yeah, maybe.
And I heard somebody had a theory about, like, maybe she came out as a monster gem first, because when Steven was asking, what are these monsters, Amethyst was the first one to be like, they're gems, they're like us.
Asshole. Why do you think they're different?
So, yeah, somebody had a theory that, like, maybe she was, like a monster gem for a while. I don't know. I have no idea. I don't know.
If she was born a monster gem first, then her hole wouldn't be person shaped. But that's still it answers. Okay, for me, what I took out of this was it answers the question of what these gem monsters are doing on Earth. They were grown here. It's like that they probably all came from kindergartens. But we still don't know how and why exactly they went through some sort of corruption process. Because obviously they don't come out as monsters, because, as I just said, they're all people-shaped. So they were gems. And they still are gems, but, like, yeah. So I'm still waiting for, like, the reveal of how, like, how a gem turns into a gem monster.
Yeah. But, there's... other than the character building stuff, there was one other thing that happened at the very end. When they were teleporting away, we heard the sound of machinery working in the kindergarten.
Yeah, you know what? I have a theory of what that is. When there's that part where Steven touched the bacteriophage and, like, maybe he healed it by accident.
Maybe.
Oh no.
What if there's a new
because
new
he was
gem?
able to bubble in that episode, so maybe he got his powers back without realizing it.
What if there's like a Powerpuff Bunny episode with a new gem and it ends sad?
You mean the squirrel?
Bunny, the purple Powerpuff Girl that's all big and dumb.
Oh, yes.
She was made out of unstable chemical X, and it was sad.
Yeah, I thought I was thinking of Bullet.
Crying. Yeah. Oh yeah. No, that's a good one. I like Bullet.
The Bullet came back one time. He's like, "I'm gonna help everybody punch the squirrel." Well, let's talk about what really was the heart of this episode. The reason why it was such a powerful episode, and that was that
because Amethyst can do the Sonic Spin Dash. That's why. Gotta go fast.
Yeah, there's some new power in this one.
Anyway, you were saying.
Yeah. Also, she's got like apparently inexhaustible cat o' nine tails.
Yeah, they all do. They can summon their weapons as much as they want.
Yeah, the character bits between Amethyst and Pearl were
so powerful.
Yeah, were awesome, and it's like it's shit that we haven't seen. Like even in Giant Woman, we didn't see this kind of real, like incredible bonding between them. I kind of can't explain why it was so good because it's A, self-evident, and B, like it was sort of overwhelming.
Well, it adds a new dimension to it because, I mean, we always it was obvious from the beginning that Pearl and Amethyst are very different. They don't get along very well. You know, Amethyst sort of resents Pearl a little bit, and Pearl sort of is very condescending to Amethyst a lot. So that seemed sort of like part of it, but we didn't know that a lot of it probably stemmed from, I guess, this origin, because, Amethyst was saying, how did you not know this was bothering me? This is my entire existence. This is everything about who I am, or what made me. And, like, now we sort of know that Amethyst has always sort of had this burden, like this guilt, this shame about herself because of where she came from, which it adds a new layer to it because not only are they different, not only is she younger and more inexperienced and more like sort of brash and acting out, but like she's just feels like she has
an inferiority complex, which is not baseless, that's a big thing.
And also Pearl in almost every episode is going on and on about how for how much she disagrees with the Gem Homeworld's policies on how they handled Earth, she seems to mostly be pro-Gem. Like, she's all about Steven's heritage and their people and what the Gem Homeworld is like. She was super thirsty to get back into space. Yeah. And, like, Amethyst has to hear all this about how great the Homeworld is and all this stuff, and she's just like, well, I'm none of those things.
Yeah, I mean, Amethyst says probably the most telling line, like, I'm not going to let you stand there and remind me of everything that I hate about myself. God. Which was, pretty much sums up their whole sort of relationship, or like the negative aspects of their relationships and why they tend to not get along is because
that delivery was so good. I wonder how many takes that took.
Yeah.
Because that was perfect. Because that's the kind of line where that needs full commitment and that needs an expert execution to pull off. Because that kind of line would be really easy to not work. And
totally.
She steamrolled it. She crushed it into a fine powder.
And I think it's because like it wasn't like this. The whole scene focused in on the line.
Yeah.
It was just a line that she was saying while other things were happening. Like.
And a lot of shit was happening.
Yeah, so it wasn't like too much corny drama was put on it. It was natural because she was just yelling this while she was upset, while fighting.
Yeah, I saw some GIF sets of like the storyboarding for their fight sequences. It's so good. Like, I love storyboards. They're my favorite thing.
And Pearl, of course, was just so naive about all of this because she had no clue, which sort of shows
she's very self-absorbed.
Yeah, she's very self-absorbed. She doesn't really think about these things.
Space Race showed that she was gonna kill Steven. She was gonna kill him to death.
Like, she just assumes that everybody's on the same page as her, so she never needs to explain herself. Or, like, she just goes... Because, like, that was the thing. Like, she just assumed that Steven wanted to go to the homeworld as bad as she did, even though that makes no sense. And she just assumed that Amethyst knew how she felt about Amethyst, even though she never communicated it.
No, because all Amethyst really got were these sort of passive-aggressive criticisms about her all the time. About Amethyst, you're so gross, you're so sloppy, you're so blah, you're not like
You're so irresponsible.
You're not like Garnet and me. Why can't you be more like Garnet and me?
And then Garnet's just like, leave
Do
me out.
not bring me down to your level, Pearl. I am doing important things. I'm raising our son, and it feels like I'm the only one who's pulling my weight. She is...
That's what we took out of this. Garnet continues to be flawless.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, that was the episode before the Future Vision.
Well, I think the only fault that she has is that she is sort of disattached from things sometimes. Like, she sort of tends to let these things play out and not intervene. Because she is so cool and, like, so... She can be a little distant.
Oh, yeah.
And I think that is definitely a fault for her. Especially when, Pearl and Amethyst are so, like, messed up people.
Yeah. I would say it's a good character flaw, though.
Yeah.
Like, it's not like a negative critique of the show. Like, that, It's good. Like, I like that she's like that.
Yeah, no.
Because it leads to good conflict.
And considering her company, I think she just needs to be distant.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, I mean, she's, appearing more and more like the dad to me. Like, I just came home from work. I don't want to deal with this crap,
And, like, I love how every time she, like, if everybody's home except Garnet, like, when Garnet comes back, everyone's like, oh, shit.
Yeah.
Shut up. Garnet's home.
Because Pearl is the overbearing mom, and Amethyst is definitely more like the kid, or the peer to Steven.
Yeah, like the older sister.
Yeah.
Well, what I get is Pearl is more like an older sister who feels like she needs to be a mom, but isn't a mom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Because,
it's a significant age gap.
Yeah. I mean, again, all three of them come from aspects of Becky Shug's personality and the way that she interacted with her own brother. So I feel like that's more so what Pearl is.
Yeah.
I feel like maybe on some level they're all like sisters trying to be parents because the actual parent is Rose and she's gone.
Yeah.
Because they all feel that way about
and that
Rose.
was
like they all share.
That's what I felt that was like my favorite line from the test of Amethyst is like, you're clearly not doing a good job of teaching him. We know I'm not capable of that. Like self-deprecating, but in a very self-aware way. Not like that goof from the other one was like, I'm blaming you for this. That's fair.
Yeah, that's fair.
That's just a great goof where like this is real.
Yeah.
Yep. They need Rose. And they don't got her.
Yeah, like, I feel like, especially after an episode like this, I'm like, Garnet, you need to, like, be there. I don't know. But I guess that's not who she is.
Yeah.
Who
she is two different people, and maybe one of them will do it. We'll see when they finally confirm that definitely true theory. You heard it here. You also heard it at a bunch of other places, I'm pretty sure.
What?
The Garnet fusion theory.
Multiple...
It's definitely true.
The Garnet's a fusion?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I've never heard that theory.
You what?
It's everywhere.
I guess we're going through this. No, like, okay. Garnet is a fusion of a gem named Pearl and a gem named Ruby and a gem named Sapphire. To me, the biggest indication is that like the multi-portal door in the room in the house has 5 gems on it.
I was wondering about that.
A rose quartz, a pearl, an amethyst, a ruby, and a sapphire. And there is an episode in which Pearl activated the ruby and the sapphire with her gems. The two Garnet. Garnet has 2 gems on her hands. They have different facets. She's the only guy with 2 gems to not be a fusion. And the facets on her hands matched up with these 2 gems on the icon, on the door. Also, when Alexandrite split up, there's 4 silhouettes. For like 1 frame. Also, she's significantly bigger and stronger than the other 2 non-fused gems. There's that line where Amethyst says, don't be don't worry about it, Steven. Gem fusion's really hard. Not for me. There's a lot of evidence for it. I think it's definitely true. I would be astonished if it's not true. And like somebody asked them about it at the panel, and Ian Jones Gordy said, Steven Universe airs at 6:30, at 7:30, 6:30 Central on Cartoon Network. Maybe you'll find your answers there.
That was his answer for everything.
And there might even be another.
Nina's having a moment on air.
There might even be another piece of evidence that I'm forgetting, but
well, in the pilot, which isn't canon, obviously,
because
everybody
wants to be fused all the time.
Because she's an experience. She was the one that gave
that's the other
Steven that huge pro-fusion pep talk. Yeah. But also, like, in the pilot, she's literally standing on this big crystal platform made out of like red and blue. So that's another two different gems with fucking with Garnet.
Yeah, because I was so fucking confused by that door thing. I was like, wait, what?
Yeah, why are there 5? Is one supposed to be Steven? No, Steven has the rose quartz gem in his belly.
Yeah.
I want to poke it. I want to poke Steven's gem.
I mean, it's possible that, if we don't know exactly what the size rules are. We know that every time they fuse, they get bigger. And Garnet is the biggest of the 3, but that would mean that the 2 gems she comes from are pretty small. So maybe they're very weak.
Yeah, maybe.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, maybe that's why they fused, because they weren't good enough separate.
But that's so weird, being fused permanently?
I mean, because, like, it's just one conscious. Like, that's the confusing and really, really deep thing that I love about the fusing. Because, a lot of other shows would do it, so it's like, oh, they're both in the head and, like, whatever. But it's like, it is, but it isn't. It's separate, but it's technically one new consciousness with all the experiences and feelings of the parts, but making a new sum. So Garnet's probably at this point just more used to being Garnet.
I can't believe you've never heard of that.
I've never heard of this.
So yeah, anything else to say about the episode?
No, I think that's it. I'm at the point now. Here's one thing. I have this thing where, like, if I have a favorite thing, I'm always super hesitant to replace it until I finally do it. Like, for me with podcasts, forever my favorite podcast was Tweet Me Harder. And then when I started listening to Bim Bam, it took me a long time to admit that I like it better than Tweet Me Harder. I like Steven Universe more than Adventure Time at this point.
Yep. Oh yeah. Me too. But I feel like that's just because Adventure Time's been around so much longer. I'm wondering if that's a factor, just the fact that we're so used to Adventure Time now.
Yeah, I think that is definitely part of it, because Adventure Time does feel so old.
Yeah, it's down. It's going down. Not in a bad way. I just mean, like, chronologically. Like, it's reaching some sort of end. Clearly, maybe not soon, relatively speaking, but it's like, it's in the second half of its life. It's middle aged.
Yeah, I think that's what it is. It's middle aged.
Yeah,
it's seasoned.
I feel like we've already seen it do the crazy things that it's gonna do. Mm-hmm. And maybe hopefully we'll be surprised. That would actually be wonderful.
Oh yeah. I'm not saying it's getting worse. Not like that one rando in Magfest.
No, I'm still liking what they're doing.
I still love it. I think these most recent episodes have been great.
Baby Lich is my new favorite character ever.
Sweet Pea.
Yep.
Sweet Pea.
Yeah, we will talk about that giant baby. We will talk about Adventure Time baby cakes next
probably
week.
Next week. Yeah, because we've been kind of holding off on it because, like, they're building an arc, like a loose arc of Lich related stuff. Anyway, I think it's time for us to wrap this up. Nina, got any shoutouts?
Yes, I do.
Sweet.
At Seaweed Queen on Twitter said, I wish I found the Toon Goons podcast sooner. It's one of the best animation podcasts that I've listened to, and the hosts are pretty great. Thumbs up emoji.
We got an emoji.
Thank you. Our fan Nartikor Narti, sorry if I'm mispronouncing your name, but was really sweet and asked us if we were okay since we missed 2 weeks, and wanted to make sure that we took care of ourselves and that we get through whatever's happening in our lives. And I thought that was very nice of you to say. And we're fine. We were just...
It was all my fault.
We were just sick.
Yeah.
I did that.
Yeah, I had to cut it out because of the technical problems. Yeah, Tooch got us sick. And it was like one of the, like, for both Nina and me, one of the worst colds we've ever had.
Yeah.
It was pretty bad. I mean, I went through it too, so.
Yeah. But we're fine, but thank you so much. That's really sweet of you. And I hope you're glad that we're back, because we're glad to be back too.
Yes.
User 7500619
you can do better, man.
their own interpretation of the Utena movie.
Oh boy.
So they said, my interpretation of the movie is that it's a mindscape of someone pulling together their shattered psyche after multiple traumatic experiences. Utena splits from Anthe because of the rape. Shiori splits from Utena over Toga drowning. Utena is able to start consolidating Shiori by coming to terms with Toga's death. Anthe is able to start consolidating with Utena by embracing her own agency, rejecting her brother as a prince, and beginning to deal with all of that trauma. There are other pieces of evidence to support this, but what got me thinking about it was that both Utena and Shiori's boyfriend drowned in a lake trying to save another girl. Yeah.
Cool.
I mean, that's the great thing. That's what I like about Utena, is that there's like so many different ways you can spin it and see it, and that's fascinating. I like it.
Yeah.
My favorite thing.
Nikki, however, almost pulled a Brave Little Toaster air conditioner. So
yeah,
let's move on.
But my favorite part about Utena is that since I released that episode, I don't have to think about Utena anymore. So why are we talking about Utena?
I'm not turning into a car. You're turning into a car.
You're stuck in the wall with me. That's two different things. Wait. Right. Well, no, yeah. Talk to Nina about that theory, because like she'll engage you with it. I think it's cool that you're thinking. Anything else?
Oh, and we got somebody suggesting we look into Batman, Spider-Man. They said it gets silly. It's silly at first, but then gets very interesting, and the animation gets so good.
I've seen other stuff by Lindsay and Alex Small-Butera, and they're really good. I think I've seen like one or two Batman Spider-Mans, and I didn't like sink my teeth into it all the way, but it at the very least seemed very sincere and very passionate. So I'd like to check it out.
Yeah,
I don't know if it'll
cute.
support an episode, but
the animation is very fluid and fun to look at.
Yeah, it's just really silly to watch how they move, and like it's all nonsense humor, but just watching them like flump around.
They're big,
and,
fat,
like, but apparently
they're giant fat babies.
Yeah, and like that was the joke for a while, but then I got off the pulse of it. I only watched the first dozen episodes, and then years later I looked back to it, and they got like a cast of characters.
There's like a guy with there's like peach for a head.
Yeah, and like a sentient tuba screaming jack-o'-lantern that's slowly rotting. Like a tentacle monster, like bizarro versions of Batman, Spider-Man that I think just act exactly the same.
Yeah, I think we have friends who know more about Batman, Spider-Man. We should ask them.
We'll look into it.
I believe that's most of everything. Thank you to all of our new followers and subscribers, and
thank you for everybody.
For people who click a button and say, yes, I want to pay attention to what these people are doing.
Yeah, speaking of which, thank you to everybody who passed around that Utena episode. I really did bleed for that episode, both making it and producing it, and I really like that people are enjoying it, and are sharing it, because like that's one of the hardest I've ever that is the hardest I've worked on an episode from beginning to end, and thank you guys so much for loving it.
Yeah,
or
I'm
for at least
people are listening to
for
it
honestly just for listening to it, because like I get it's so long.
Yeah, the fact that anybody listens to anything that we do is really
we basically put out a giant bombcast about Utena. That's what we did, because their shit's like 3 hours long.
Well, at least we don't do that every week, so we're better than that.
Yeah.
Anyway, okay. Ways to contact us: thetoongoons@gmail.com, thetoongoons.tumblr.com, twitter.com/thetoongoons, soundcloud.com/thetoongoons, The Toon Goons on iTunes, youtube.com/The Toon Goons Podcast. That's everywhere we are. Places to keep an eye on, most importantly, are our Tumblr and our YouTube. Trying to make that quicker.
And iTunes. iTunes is important too.
iTunes, leave a rating or a review if you like the show and want to. That helps us out, and it'd be great. We love.
Yes.
And also constructive criticism is always good, but maybe put that just in an email and not publicly.
Don't put that into a star rating system.
Because people have talked about me trying to balance out the audio levels of the three of us better, and I'm listening. I'm trying to work on that. Next week we're talking about Samurai Jack. Where's the best place to find it? Like, some of it's on Adult Swim and some of it's on Netflix. It's
Isn't season 3 just not findable?
No, I had to find that illegally.
Shh.
Okay.
We have the VH. We have it on Laserdisc.
You can watch all of season 1 and most of season 2 on Adult Swim and part of season 4. All of season 2 is on Netflix. That's what you got. Amazon Instant, you have to pay for it.
That has been this episode of the Toon Goons. I've been Nikki.
I've been Nina.
And I'm Tooch.
Thank you for tuning in. Trying something new. See you later, guys.
Don't swallow your cord.